like we always say, thank you very much for being here with us in another weekly Wednesday webinar. Season 2, don't ever forget, Season 2. We were doing a recap of how many episodes we have done, and it's more than 60 episodes that we have done. So we're just so happy, especially seeing, familiar names on the attendees list. So thank you very much for him being with us. And I know we always get people from the West Coast, the East Coast, the North side, the South side, everywhere, I wouldn't be surprised if we have somebody, from Canada at this point. So we're just so happy that each one of you are joining us, because without you attend this, none of this wouldn't be possible. So, and then this is a great topic, something that's very relevant. And then, we're going to study the science of how these hackers or, these people that get your information, how do they get it from you? You're going to learn so many things. And please, please don't forget to ask all of your questions, because what is our commitment, Milton? What is our commitment about the questions?
We answer every question before we let you go.
There you
That's
go.
the commitment. Yes, sir.
We're going to answer all of them live. And they're going to be, the one and only Andrea is going to be reading all of your questions. So please, please, we want you to send all of your questions. And I don't know about you panelists, but, it's a beautiful day here, in Virginia. A lot of pollen, it's getting to people. Eyes are itching, nose is running and red, but it's just such a beautiful spring afternoon. And with that being said, Kim, I'll take it and pass it on to you.
Thank you, Eddie. You are so awesome. Good evening to our valued members. Do you know that you are a valued member? If you don't know, you know now. You are a valued member. I'm going to introduce the panelist team. Eddie has already introduced himself. He's from our marketing department. We have Andrea and Carrie, also from marketing. And I am Kim Fridley from our membership development department. If you're not a member yet and you're on this call, you're going to call our main line. It's 202-224-2967. You're going to choose option 7 and just say my name, Kim Fridley, and I will help you through that process. So Milton is his knowledge is unbelievable. He's got years and years of banking and credit union experience, and we are just honored that he is going to be presenting behind the scenes of identity theft this evening. So, and don't forget, you can use the Q&A, you can use the chat to ask questions. We will always answer them live, as you know. And take it away, Milton.
All right, Kim, thank you so much for the introduction. And as always, welcome everyone to another exciting weekly Wednesday webinar. Actually, believe it or not, we were just reflecting back, as Eddie alluded to. We are done over 60 plus webinars since we started this a little over a year ago. And to think that all those webinars we've done this year too, and also to reflect back and know that this is the last one that we're doing for the month of April, because next week, believe it or not, it's already May 1st. So it's insane. I know a lot of people, especially those that love the warmer temperatures, I know it's around the corner. I know May is the time where the pools are open and everyone is getting excited, thinking about taking road trips and everything. So we're happy to have you here with us. So again, as always, we are just extremely thankful and excited to see so many familiar faces, as the panel mentioned. And as like Eddie stated at the beginning, if you missed it, if you have any questions, feel free to submit them either through the Q&A or the chat feature. And our commitment, as always, is that we're going to answer every question. And what a better way to end the month. As everyone knows, April is Financial Literacy Month, and with that, we have to touch and talk about identity theft, because it is definitely one of those topics that is very, 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 what I would say, popular, and not in a good way, in a way that we are continue to see the numbers increasing. We look back and look at the reports on how the number it's in an uptrend every year. We look at the data that we receive from the FBI and the FTC, and all those numbers. Again, it's a little scary and very concerning. this is the reason as to why we wanted to come in and talk to you all and provide this presentation, and hopefully you'll take something good out of it, and if so, also share with your friends, family, because it could also help them protect themselves and not fall a victim of this of identity theft, which is such a bad experience, and this is coming from a person that's lived through it myself. And with that being said, let's go ahead and dive in. So behind the scenes of identity theft. So how the data gets stolen. So first, we want to do a quick overview of the presentation for today, and just again, just tell you what is identity theft, what are some of those common techniques used by the thieves, also what are some of the real life impacts and the practical prevention tips on that we can implement on ourselves and share with others so that nobody becomes and falls a victim of this horrible crime that is going on. So I will say that let's start with the concept, right? The idea, the knowledge of what is identity theft. So again, it is a crime. And it happens when somebody obtains your information and it uses it in their gain to commit fraud, deception, typically for economic gains. I think that's the biggest reason as to why somebody it's out there and looking to steal your identity. And we all know that it can have very, very devastating effects on the victim's finances, also on their credit, reputation, and often requiring considerable efforts and time to resolve. And again, as I stated at the beginning, I myself have been a victim of it, and it took me months. I would have hoped it was only weeks, but it actually took me months in order for me to get myself back, get my identity back. And again, I don't wish it on anyone. That's something for sure. And with that being said, in this presentation, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and dive in and talk a little bit about, what are some of those common types of identity theft, the types of stolen data that is most popular out there. And with that, let's start talking about, what are some of those common types of identity theft. So the first one, and the one that we've seen on the rise, it's going to be the financial identity theft. And the reason why we're talking about this, obviously, we are a credit union, so we are a financial institution. And as much as we hate to talk about this, but it's the reality. We are seeing a lot of our members being targets of these criminals, where they're looking for ways to get into their accounts, access their financial information, get a hold of their credit card numbers, their bank accounts, their loans, or even try to open accounts under their names. You'd be surprised. And that it's what we see firsthand. I mean, firsthand is what we experience, and we work very closely with our risk department here at the credit union, and try to do our best to assist those members that are going through a financial identity theft. Which again, like I said, this type of cases is on the rise. Another type of identity theft is actually, believe it or not, is going to be the medical identity theft. You might wonder, like, really, is that also happening? And it is. And obviously, this happens when someone steals another individual's personal information to receive medical services, to buy prescription drugs, or submit fraudulent claims to insurance providers using the victim's identity. And just to name a few. Another one, I know we just went through tax season, but tax identity theft is also another big one. And this is where the criminal is going to use the person's social security number in order all the identifying information to file tax returns with the intent of stealing the refunds. And it truly, again, it's very alarming in terms of the type of types of identity theft that we are seeing. Another one also that is on the rise, believe it or not, is going to be what is called the synthetic identity theft. And this is the creation of a new identity using a combination of real and fabricated information often involving a real social security number with a different name and a birthday to create a new credit profile. It's as I stated in previous presentations, and that we talked about identity theft, the criminals are getting more and more savvy. They're always trying to be a step ahead, and try to find ways on how they can go and create and hurt individuals. And our best defense, again, is to always be on high alerts. And last but not least, which is another type of and that is becoming common, unfortunately, it's going to be the child identity theft. And obviously, this happens when your child's identity gets stolen, and they use that information to apply for government benefits, open bank accounts for your kids, credit accounts, just to name a few. So, these are the most common types that we see here in our end, that we get members that are reporting, and then we are helping them, assisting them, and getting their life back whenever they have been targeted, and now we need to work with them to help them solve those issues. And then we're gonna dive more into what are some of the things that you can do, and on some of this later slides. But again, they wanted to mention those, so just so you have an idea, as far as what are some of those common types of identity thefts that we're seeing. Now, going forward into this next slide, which is the types of stolen data. Again, it's pretty self-explanatory. The first one and the most popular one is going to be your personal information, right? So anything that is related with your name, birthday, social security number. They also want to get a hold of your driver's license number, passports, and you might ask yourself, really, they even going after your passports? And the answer is yes. Believe it or not, passports, they can be used to commit fraud abroad, so international fraud. And truly is something that we have seen some of those reports, and it's a little scary. Also, the same thing goes with driver's license. We are seeing people, using driver's license to create fake IDs. And even using that to visit financial institutions and try to make withdrawals, pretending to be you. So it's just the number one type of stolen data, again, and it is the most popular one. Unfortunately, it's going to be your personal identification. The second one, it's going to be the financial information. So this is when they're trying to get a hold of your credit card numbers, your bank accounts, any investment accounts that you have. And with the intent to, again, go in and use your accounts without without being authorized, so unauthorized purchases. And recently we are actually have seen a lot of attempts where their criminal is trying to get a hold of your bank account so that they can actually go in and wipe your account and take every penny that you have at any financial institution. So be very, very careful. Going down the list here, the next one is going to be the contact information. So anything that is related to your email, phone numbers, or your home address. This is something that the criminals are using for to use different types of approaches. Such as if they get a hold of your email, they can use that for phishing attacks or to gain access to your online accounts through password resets. Same thing goes with phone numbers. They use it so that they can they can scam and then be added to a contact list for additional phishing attempts or phishing. I'm sorry. And again, we're gonna dive a little more into what are some of those types of attacks that I mentioned, which is the phishing, the vision, and smishing later on in some of this slides that we have coming up. But again, it's just the most common type of data that is stolen is going to be this. And again, online information. They love this one, and the reason why is because they can just go behind a computer and try to steal, anything that is related to your online account, such as usernames, passwords, security questions, any browsing history and online behavior that you have. And with that, they can actually do, get a clear picture and idea as to what it is that you do online, and use that to their advantage, and then trying to go in and then commit the crimes. And so again, you got to be very, very, very careful. Also, another type of stolen data is going to be your health information, believe it or not. Medical records, they can use medical records to file fraudulent insurance claims, purchase prescription drugs, receive medical care under the victim's identity. Obviously, with insurance, they can commit insurance fraud with that, and just to name a few. And last but not least is going to be the biometrics data. So biometrics, we all know, a lot of the new technology is now implementing that, which is your fingerprints and any facial recognition. The criminals can use that to crack into and get into your devices, using the biometrics that is stored in your devices, and especially now with our artificial intelligence, they are getting more and more creative. And again, it's almost scary that it almost make you not want to use technology. But there's ways on how you can protect yourself, and that's the reason why we're doing this webinar. So I know all of this that we're talking about right now, it sounds alarming, but there's always ways on how you can protect yourself. And again, that's the reason why we're doing this. Obviously, another type of data that gets stolen out there, believe it or not, and we have seen this. It's not that popular, but we have seen some cases where they actually try to go after your educational records, such as your transcripts and diplomas, student identification numbers, just to name a few. So just know this, that each type of stolen information can be exploited in different ways. So making it crucial for individuals to protect their personal data across all of the aspects of their life. So the main key here, and one of the biggest takeaway that I want you to take from this, is that you have to have awareness and be proactive when it comes to all the security measures that you're implementing, because that's going to be the key in preventing, and helping you not become a victim of your information getting into the wrong hands. So again, very, very, very alarming when we talk about this type of stuff, and then what the criminals are looking to do once they get a hold of it. So really quick, I want us to look into this slide here, and kind of get an idea as to the profiles of the identity thieves, right? What are some of their general characteristics? What are the motivations and the methods of operations? So, and to answer that, what would be the general characteristics of an identity thief? Believe it or not, it can be anyone. Really, there's not any specific profile that you can put on someone that is looking to commit crime, and go and steal your information, and obviously exploit it once they get a hold of it. So all we know that is that these criminals often seek out the path of the least resistance. So they exploit easy targets, such as unprotected personal information, or individuals with that are less familiar with the digital security practices, unfortunately. And as security technologies evolve, so do their methods of identity theft. So they're quick to adapt to new technologies and security, often finding inventive ways to bypass those type of protections. So identity thieves, do not easily give up. If there's one thing, they're very persistent. If one method fails, they will give it a try with another one until they are finally successful. And especially if you all recall, not long ago we had one presentation that we were talking about AI, or artificial intelligence. That is one of the things that we are starting to see a lot. It's in the rise, and it's scary because there's so many other ways that now they're looking to implement, and that's one of the reasons why it's very hard to put an actual profile into what a identity thief looks like. Just know that some are going to operate independently. Many are part of a large criminal network that share tools, techniques, and stolen information. And get this, and this is the most alarming one in my opinion. These networks can actually extend international. And so with that, it makes it a little bit more complicated to fight against them. I know that there are a lot of campaigns, international campaigns that are going after all those criminals. And I don't want to name any countries, but we have seen a large number of cases that are happening in Asia, as far as where the largest network of criminals that are pretty much that's their job. All they do all day long is to try to go in and steal information and make people fall victims of identity theft. So again, be very, very careful. And the one thing again is that understanding this type of traits is going to help you formulate a better preventive measure, such as educating individuals, about the importance of protecting your personal information. So we always encourage everyone to the use of security systems and promoting vigilance against any unsolicited communication. So if you're getting anything via emails, via phone calls or text messages, and they promise you something that it sounds too good to be true, it probably isn't. So again, be always vigilant, always be on high alert, because this criminals, there's one thing that we know for a fact is that they are very resistant. They're always are going to try. They're not going to give up with the first try. They're going to try it again and again and again until they make some type of waves and find a loophole where they can go in and steal your information. So again, be very careful. With that being said, let's talk a little bit about what are some of those motivations. Again, the first one and the main one is going to be for financial gain. I mean, this is the most common reason why people commit identity theft and other white-collar crimes. It's just for the financial benefit. I'm sorry. Obviously, we know that they profit directly by accessing the victim's accounts. Go and make unauthorized purchases or opening new credit accounts, just to name a few. And that's going to be, again, the number one motivation that we see in so many cases. Also, obtaining services, believe it or not, using stolen identities to access services without payment, such as medical service, utilities, or subscriptions, as we talked about in one of the previous slides. Believe it or not, medical insurance claims are on the rise. There are people that are getting getting notifications from their insurance company. I know I just had a person not long ago that they were looking to go ahead and get a prescription refilled, and then when they went to the pharmacy, they told them that they already picked it up, and they were surprised. Because they did it. It was somebody else that went and pretended to be them, and they stole their medication. Why would somebody want to do that? Again, it's insane, but it is happening. Also, the other motivation is, again, it's just for the simple fact of committing fraud, engaging in further criminal activities such as filing fraudulent tax returns or applying for loans and benefits under another person's name. It's just it's insane, but it's just one of those motivations that why they want to go ahead and do that. Obviously, another one that we see is going to be the revenge. So the personal vendettas can motivate individuals to steal an identity as a form of revenge, leading to financial ruin or reputation on the other end, on the victim. So it's something to keep an eye out. And last but not least, And this one is one that you might see it on TV, or you might see it on movies, or series that you might watch, but you probably might or might not be surprised to know that oftentimes some of the motivations can be because they want to hide another crime. So aggravated identity theft is when someone steals someone's information, identity, I'm sorry, and commits another crime. And the reason the reason why they want to do this is just so that their identity, they're using somebody else information to commit crimes, and so the police might go after the wrong person, and they use it obviously to and it serves them as a smoke screen for concealing who actually the perpetrator is. And so you have to be very, very careful as to how you're keeping your information, and know where you always want to be on alert, and always keep everything in a secure place, and do not do not go into do not make yourself an easy target for this individual. So again, this is what we consider what I we like to call the most popular motivations as to why somebody wants to go ahead and steal your identity. Now, going down the presentation, and we start looking into what are some of those methods of operations. Again, there are different, too many methods in my opinion. And the one that we see that is obviously that has become the biggest one and the biggest headache for so many different financial institutions, and obviously the government as well too, and that's going to be the data breaches. So this is the large scale security breaches because they know that oftentimes that's where they can find the most information, and is the easiest for them, because once they can crack into the information for different companies or government agencies, it's going to be easy for them to access everything else. So data breaches, and I'm sure we all see it in the news when it happens, and oftentimes the criminals are going to go ahead and target those big brand names. I can't I think the last one that I recall seeing on the news, if I'm not mistaken, was Target, if I'm not mistaken. It happened not long ago, as to one of those companies that they were going after, and that particular department that they were going after was their credit cards from Target, and it's scary. I know on the government side, they went after the Department of Homeland Security. They were able to get into them. They had a data breach back I want to say about 10 or 15 years ago, and that's how my information got actually stolen. At some point, I wanted to work for the DHS, and they had all my information, and unfortunately, my data was part of that. And I didn't think of that thing was going to happen until all of a sudden I started seeing crazy things happening on my credit report, and I was like, wait a minute, this is not me. And boy, I tell you, it was a mess. But my information got stolen due to a data breach that happened with the Department of Homeland Security. So very scary. Now, with that being said, what do they do? Once they get that information, I mean, it's a tough position to be in. It truly is. Another method that they're using, and this is something that I was talking about a little bit previously, it's going to be the phishing attacks. So this is when the criminal is gonna use their technology, such as emails or text messages, that they're going to send to the victims, and they're going to make it look legitimate, that is coming from a reputable company or a financial institution. And their whole goal of phishing is to trick you into clicking on their links or the attachment that they're sending you, so that they can get into access your information, such as your password, social security numbers, credit card details, just to name a few. Now, connected with phishing, we also like to talk about vision, which is the new method that they're using, and especially with AI, So phishing is going to be the same thing as phishing, but in the term of voice. So this is when they get on the phone and they will make phone calls and they will pretend to be, a legitimate authority or a person that you might know, and it's asking you to provide, personal information. Especially with AI, with the artificial intelligence, a lot of people are now able to pretty much mimic voices, the people that you might be familiar with, even celebrities. You'd be surprised, and that's something that we are seeing that is starting to become a headache for a lot of people. And last but not least is going to be the smishing. So again, smishing is going to be very similar to the previous two. It's just that this one is going to be in a form of a text message. So they're going to be sending you text messages with links or giving you a phone number to call. And once you do that, the goal is to have you give them your personal information, and once you've done that, that's all they need. So again, very, very, very concerning. Another method that we see often is going to be the physical theft. Obviously, this is when your wallet or your purses or even your mail gets stolen. And the goal for that is to obtain any information that you might have in your wallet. I know that most people, they keep their identifying information in their wallets, such as your driver's license, health insurance card, and even social security numbers. You'd be surprised. Although having these items on us is a necessity. It also makes you um, a little bit more vulnerable when it comes to to the criminal getting access to all your information if for some reason your wallet or purse gets stolen. So the criminals, they're very skilled. You might be surprised, but they're very skilled when it comes to stealing wallets out of your pockets or your bags. Some people, that's what they do for a living. So again, you got to be very, very careful. Another type of method that we are seeing a lot is going to be the skimming devices. So this is when the criminal installs devices on ATMs, gas station pumps, and what they do with the skimming devices, it's in essence, they're going to go ahead and capture your credit or debit card information whenever you are at the pump or if you go to an ATM. And again, they are going out there and targeting different gas station or ATMs. Most of the times it's going to be those standalone ATMs that you might see around your neighborhoods. And they install this devices, and in essence, what they're doing with that is that they can actually steal all your information, all your card number, and then they can go ahead and turn it back and just create a duplicate copy of your card and then start going and they having fun with it in essence. So again, um, it's very alarming, very concerning. So our goal for you and another takeaway that we want you to do whenever you are going into a gas station is to do a quick check on the gas pump, or if you're using an ATM, make sure there's nothing foreign that is sticking out, that doesn't look like it belongs to the machine or to the device that you're accessing before you insert your card. So again, very, very concerning. Another type of method is going to be the shoulder surfing. Again, this one is when the criminal is looking directly at the individual's PIN numbers if they're at the ATM. Or if you are using your personal devices such as your computer, tablet, iPads, and then you are putting your credentials because you're logging into any of your accounts, especially if you're in public. That's what they're looking for. So be very careful if you are putting in your information, especially if you're using your smart devices, your cell phones. Just look behind you. Make sure there is no one looking behind you. If you're at an ATM, make sure that the person, if there's someone waiting for you, make sure there's enough personal space so that no one is looking over your shoulder and trying to get someone to actually see what your PIN number is. So be very very careful. The other one, and this is going down the list with the methods here, it's going to be the social engineering. And again, with this one, it's used to manipulate the way how social engineering is used. They manipulate people into revealing confidential information through deceptive interactions. Obviously, the word itself says it. So social engineer, and they're using that again to blackmail and steal information. So you want to be very careful as to why you're sharing it on your social media. Someone might call you pretending to be a relative or a government representative and ask you for personal information, or they can even develop into a personal relationship or a love relationship, what we like to call, and with the whole intent to, again, make you fall and become a victim of identity theft. So we ask that when you're using your social media, be very careful as to what you're sharing. Don't share everything in there, or if you do, make sure that you have the privacy settings up to date. That you're making things private. Do not share any public information, or if you get any friend requests from people that you don't know, just do your due diligence before you accept any friends requests that are coming in. And again, the number one rule for this is that you want to be careful. Be very, 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 very careful. Always use caution, especially when it comes to social media, that stuff that's out there. I know everyone is using it, and it could be, again, another tool that the criminals are using to go back and then commit the crimes. Another one here, and another one that is very popular, is going to be the public Wi-Fi or insecure networks. We talked about this. Do not, never, ever, ever use any of your financial institutions. Never try to log in into any of your personal accounts if you're using a public Wi-Fi. Never try to go into your bank accounts, check your balances if you're connected to the public Wi-Fi. And the reason for it is because you don't know, somebody could have a tracking code there that they can see everything that you're doing, and they can transfer all of the data that you're inputting, and now they have everything, all your credentials, all your passwords. So be very, very careful. Also, if you are using the web, make sure that whenever you type in the address for the place that you're visiting, that it starts with a HTTPS. We talked about this many times. And the reason why we say that is because if the website has the HTTPS, that means that it's going to be a secure website. It's a site that you're gonna be able to trust. Oftentimes it's going to have a little lock right next to it that you see that if you have if it shows a little symbol there that has a lock sign, that means you're secure. And if it doesn't have it, please, please, please do not enter any personal information, because you might be setting yourself as an easy target for the criminals. And last but not least is going to be the malware and spyware. So again, this is what the criminals use to load any of those malware or spyware into your computers whenever you click into a malicious link. So if you get those emails and it's asking you to click on the link to go ahead and reset your passwords or things of that nature, or you're told that that you want something and just download the PDF that they sent you in order to get the instructions. If you ever see something like that, please, 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 please delete it or send it to your junk email, whatever it is. But one thing is that we don't want you to do, and that's going to be clicking, opening in those links, or downloading any attachments that you receive. So again, by deploying these methods, the criminals can maintain a low profile while maximizing the potential gain for their criminal activities. So for individuals and organizations alike, awareness and vigilance is going to be the key defense to protect yourself from this sophisticated and diverse techniques. Again, as I stated, we see it's almost every day, you know, that we're seeing different approaches, different methods that the criminals are using. And the number one thing, and here again, is that we always have to be on high alert, be very vigilant. And again, if you do that, that's going to be able to help you protect yourself. And also, you know, share this information with your loved ones, with your friends, with, you know, families, your neighbors, so that everyone can also, you know, be protected as well and not become a victim of identity theft. Now, with that being said, and this is pretty self-explanatory, but, you know, how do the thieves use your stolen information? Again, financial fraud, medical identity theft, government benefit fraud, tax-related fraud. Um, as I stated before, the creating the synthetic identities, social engineering, selling or trading information, and last but not least, the blackmail and extortion, which is connected to the social engineering. So be very careful. And then you may ask yourself, right? So if I become a victim of this, of identity theft, what are some of the real life impact? Well, believe it or not, there's a lot of real life impacts that you're gonna experience once you go through. And this is coming from a person that has lived it. The number one is gonna be the emotional. It truly takes a big toll with your emotional and psychological impact. You know, it truly it can create a lot of anxiety, create a lot of fear, sense of helplessness, just to name a few. And oftentimes it can even lead into depression, believe it or not. So it truly is not a place where you want to be. Also, damage to your reputation. You know, it truly can hurt you. It can also hurt your employment. You know, it can also come with legal consequences, as we stated before. If a criminal is using your information, your identity to commit crimes, you know, the police department might be going after you for something that you didn't do. And so again, you know, this is just some of the real life impact. And as I stated before, financial, economics, um, economic consequences, security and trust. I mean, just to name a few, but this is real. Once you go through this whole process, it really gets tough. But you know what? I always tell this to everyone, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. So, but before we start talking about that, I want you to know that the main key here is that you start recognizing the warning signs. And some of those warning signs that you're going to see is going to be the unexplained bank transactions. So this is the reason why we always tell everyone here, oftentimes whenever we do this type of webinars, is that you want to make sure that you are checking your bank statements at least once a month. If you're on the mobile banking or online banking, I tell everyone, check it daily, or at least once a week, if you have that, if you're able to use that. And the reason why we say that is because the sooner you catch something that looks fishy, the better and the easier it will be for you to get out of a bigger mess that might be coming your way. Also, if you see any bills that are unfamiliar, something that you didn't sign for, again, that's another warning sign that you want to you know, start paying close attention. You go and apply for credit and you get declined, and you're like, why? I know you might not have an excellent credit, but you know your credit is pretty solid, and you get declined for a credit application, then you want to know why that's happening. Obviously, if you do see any issues related to your credit report, and this is again another tool and tip that we provide to all of our members, and that is that we want you to make sure that you are checking your credit report at least once every 3 months, if not monthly. And just look for anything that is showing there. When you get a credit report, believe it or not, it's going to give you a whole list of everything, all the credit accounts that you have open. But not only that, also it's going to tell you all of the applications that you submitted, all the inquiries that you made. So if you see anything anything there that hasn't been initiated by you, that's going to be a warning sign. Again, you get collection calls for any unknown debts, or all of a sudden your mail is not going to your house. If there are any problems with your medical services, or you're getting notifications from the IRS, again, these are just some of the warning signs that you definitely want to pay close attention if you start seeing them. And here, obviously, it's what you want to do if you suspect that you become a victim of identity theft. And the number one thing that we recommend, and that's going to be that you let the financial institution know that you have become a victim, and have them close or freeze your account, your any accounts that have been compromised right away. Do not wait. The number one thing, again, that we always tell everyone: if you know that your identity has been compromised, let that financial institution know right away. Do not wait. Do not wait. Next thing is that we want to place a fraud alert with the credit bureaus. Pick up the phone, go online, and reach out to Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, and let them know that, hey, my information is compromised. I need to place an alert. And just so you know, what a credit alert is going to do for you, it's going to add an additional layer of protection. So in the event that somebody wants to pull your credit, the financial institution is going to get a hit that says that there's a fraud alert, and they need to do additional verification with you in order for them to even consider going forward with any credit application. So, and that's the reason why we highly recommend that you let the 3 credit bureaus know immediately, so that they can put an alert on your credit. Also, you definitely want to obtain your credit report and review it and see if there's any discrepancies. As I stated before, if there's anything in the inquiries that you haven't initiated, those are the things that you want to take action right away. And I'm pretty sure that everyone by now knows that you can get a free copy of your credit report once a week for free. You don't have to pay for that. And you can request that for the 3 bureaus. So again, do not wait. The next item and the next thing that we highly recommend is that you need to report it to the Federal Trade Commission, of the FTC. And once you file that report with them, you want to take that report and then also file it with your local police departments. And this is going to help you start the process of getting your life back. Again, any accounts that hasn't been compromised, make sure that you are securing those accounts. You're changing your passwords. And you know what? I know we have it here as a consideration of putting a credit freeze. I'm gonna, and Carrie, I'm sorry that I'm doing this for you, but I wouldn't say consider a credit freeze. I would say place a credit freeze right away. And you know what, regardless whether your information is stolen or not, and the reason why I'm saying that is because unless you know that you're going to be applying for credit, your credit shouldn't be open. Your credit should always be locked. And the reason why I say this is because this could avoid and help you so much, and prevent so many headaches down the road. So if your credit, if you haven't put a freeze on your credit, I'm going to give you some homework. And hopefully the next time we have another webinar like this, we're going to do a poll and see how many people went in and actually put a freeze. And the most important thing about credit freeze is that, believe it or not, it's free. You don't have to pay for it. You can put it in for as long as you want. If at any point you want to apply for credit, you can go ahead and do a temporary release of the freeze. You can tell the bureaus how many days or weeks you want to have your credit open, because if you might be in the market to shop for any particular loan, but you have control. So again, don't consider, just put a freeze on your credit. Have your credit frozen, and only unfreeze it if you need to apply for credit. Last but not least is going to be monitor your accounts often, and address any specific types of identity theft right away. Again, do not wait. Also, some of the things that we do encourage everyone, and this is going to help you prevent identity theft. And the number one thing, again, is going to be secure your personal information. Please, 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 please. always make sure that all your personal information is always secure. Um, you know, I'm sure you can go I know everyone here it's familiar with Amazon. Um, for any of your documents that you have at home, unless you have a financial institution and you're able to get a safe deposit box, if you don't have then go ahead and get yourself a safe box. Get yourself something, a safe where you can store your personal information and have it, protected at home. Keep it very secure. Um, and trust me, it might sound a little cliche, but it is worth it. And just put any of your personal information there that is very valuable, and just keep it stored in a safe location. And then just have it in a place where only you know. Or if you have a significant other, where the other person knows. But other than that, your information should not be laying around anywhere in your house. Or if if you have an office, you always want to make sure that you're keeping everything secure at all time. Also, you want to always keep track of all your accounts, reviewing your statements, and that's something that you want to do at least once a week. Don't wait. But if you can't do once a week, then at least once a month. But always make sure that you're monitoring all of your accounts. And again, I might sound like a broken record, but please, if you are going to be online, make sure that you're using all the safety measures when you are navigating online. It's going to be the best advice that I can give you, especially because nowadays, those criminals, they are creating fake websites that they look so real. You wouldn't know that in fact you are in a fake website until unless you really look with a loop with a what's the word I'm looking for, with one of those magnifying glass, and look for every detail and see if you can find anything there that might look like it's not legitimate. But again, be very careful. Also, more tips for safeguarding your personal information. As I stated before, you want to monitor your financial accounts at all times. Use credit freezes and fraud alerts. Please do so. Securely store your personal documents and review your credit reports at least once a month. Remember that tip. At least once a month. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. So why not keep track of it? So always, keep an eye out on everything. And let me tell you something really quick. And this is actually uh, a member that came to me about 4 years ago. That he always kept high balances on his accounts. And one time he approached me and said, "Hey, Milton, can you help me look into this particular transaction?" There was an ACH payment that was coming out of his account for about $650 every month, and it had been happening for about almost a year and a half. And long story short, we found out that somebody had access to his account information, and they were using his account to pay for a car loan. So this member paid for a year and a half of car payments to a criminal, and he had no idea. And the only reason why he brought it to my attention is because I was doing a financial assessment on his account, and we were looking at all of his expenses, and we found that, and I tell you, it was crazy to know that he was paying for a car loan for a year and a half to someone that he had no idea who he was. He actually lived in the Midwest, and he was here in Virginia. So very scary, very scary. So again, that's another clear example as to why you always want to check your account information always, and do not ignore your statements. Always take a look at it and make sure everything is matching. Also, as I stated, the benefit of regular monitoring your information, again, is going to help you early detect any unauthorized activity. Also, you're going to be able to maintain accurate credit reports and it's going to give you the confidence in your financial transaction, especially if you're thinking about applying for credit. Once you get a good idea as to where you are with your credits, where you are. I mean, you know what your credit report is, you know what your credit score is, and that again is going to give you the confidence as to that you are in track with your finances. And most important, implement it, right? Make sure that you implement it a regular monitoring practice every time for all of your accounts. Coming down the list here, and we're almost to the end of the presentation, but we just want to provide you with more tips to protect your information online. Again, as we always stated, we want to make sure that you always use strong and unique passwords, enable the two-factor authentication, regular update your softwares, especially if you have smart devices. Whenever the company issues those security updates, make sure that you're doing them. You can actually turn on automatic updates. Please do so if you haven't done that. Make sure you're doing. Obviously, you want to make sure that your home network is secure, and be always on high alert for any phishing attacks, and limit sharing any personal information. That is one thing that I want you to keep in mind. Also, again, as I stated before, what to do if you are a victim? First step, again, is, and this is going to be the immediate step, is that you want to reach out to the financial institutions, and the credit bureaus and the local authorities and the FTC, and take immediate actions. Also know that there might be some legal resources that you can consider, and legal actions that might be available to you. And obviously, there's a recovery process, which is the steps to reclaim your financial health and secure personal information. So be very, very, very careful. Some of your rights and legal options, again, the fraud alert, as I stated, it's initial and extended alerts for credit reports. Your credit freeze, again, is going to prevent from anyone creating new accounts, obtaining documents, requesting copies related to fraudulent activities. You also want to do the disputing fraudulent information, so blocking false entries on credit reports. So if you see anything there that it wasn't initiated by you, make sure that you file those disputes with the credit bureaus. And again, obtaining your credit reports, you're entitled for free copies of your credit report from all the three bureaus. And again, removing any wrongful charges, so clearing the name for criminal records, dealing with the debt collectors, so inform them of identity theft so that they can stop the collection calls that you might be getting. And legal actions, again, filing the police reports, suing the perpetrators, and working with the FTC is going to be very, very important. And also keeping track of all the cases, all of the reports that you get. Make sure you keep them in a secure location, and just keep track of everything. And that's going to be very useful when you are in the process of recovering your identity. Last but not least, obviously, we all know the IRS. That's the one place where you don't want to mess with, because there's a lot of implications. But you know what? You do have rights for tax-related identity theft victims. I encourage everyone to go into the irs.gov website, and they have actually there's a section there that you can go, that can help you navigate if you have become a victim of identity theft. So very important information and resources that we have available. More resources and support. One of the ones that we wanted to share, and this is actually new that we're sharing with you, and it's one that we actually strongly encourage you to visit should you become a victim, or get another more resources, and that's going to be the idtheftcenter.org. They offer free assistance to identity theft victims through phone and online chat. They have advisors that they can help the victims again understand their cases, the recovery steps, and connect them with other necessary resources. Also, the National Consumer Law Center, the nclc.org, they provide legal assistance and advocacy along with consumer tips on dealing with the debt collectors and correcting any wrongful information on your credit reports, and understanding your legal rights in the context of identity theft. Also know your privacy rights clearinghouse, the privacyrights.org. It offers educational materials on data protection and privacy, including detailed advice on responding to data breaches and securing personal information post identity theft. And last but not least, is going to be the cybercrime support network, the fraudsupport.org. This is a great resource, a great place where you can get they're going to be able to provide you with resources to report, recover, and reinforce after an accident of cybercrime has happened, including identity theft, as we stated. Their website includes the specific steps for recovery and links to appropriate reporting services. And with that being said, and I know I went over 1 minute, so Carrie, my apologies. I'm going to bring it to the end of my presentation. I really, really hope that this was helpful. Thank you all so much for coming in this journey with us and talking about this very sensitive topic, which is identity theft. So, panel, I'm going to pass it back on to you all for any questions if you have anything in the chat or the Q&A. And I think everyone here can participate and answer some of those questions. I know everyone in this panel, we have been through a lot of this webinars, and we have a lot of knowledge already. So not just myself, but I think everyone here, with the exception of maybe Andrea, because I know she's one of the new ones in the team, but even her, I'm pretty sure she can answer some of the questions that we might encounter. So Eddie and Andrea, let me pass it back to you all.
Milton, I appreciate you for the great presentation. Thank you for making us think about like how we're using our finances and, you know, where am I swiping my debit card? Especially when you mentioned about the gas station and noticing that devices that you are swiping your car on, make sure, you know, that it doesn't look out of the regular or something is not giving me that, you know, that gut feeling like, this doesn't feel right, you know, so it's always a great reminder. And shout outs to the graphics, you know, looking at those people with the mask, it made me think of like the hackers behind the scenes type of thing, you know, so it makes you take it serious. And it's a serious topic overall because many people, you know, suffer from identity theft daily, you know, and then that's why the United States and the Federal Credit Union, we have this type of webinars so our members can be prepared and then we can avoid from this to happen to them. With that being said, Andrea, I'm gonna pass it on to you. You're the question queen, I guess. So
thank you so much. So the first question is, I have been a victim of identity theft and was signed up for LifeLock security maintenance and was notified that my information was on the dark web. I've had my social security check sent to a different account, had money taken out of cash advance on my credit card and deposited into my checking, and was withdrawn from a cash app. Currently disputing that. Also had money taken out of a Helic. I have no idea how, as I done, clicked on blind emails and sent out my information. What do I do?
So I'm happy to take that. I am so sorry. First of all, because that's a very scary information to be told. You're going to have to be very vigilant. You're going to have to be proactive. You are going to have to, and you may have already done this. I think the two questions were actually from you, sir, about AT&T and the dark web. I think there was just on the news today that AT&T has their second class action suit against them. 70 million customers were had their data breached. I think notification was sent out, they said, on March 31st, and the breach was actually 3 years ago. So they have a really large class action suit against them as to why they did not notify their customers in a timely manner and why they did not communicate what was actually breached. But they're saying name, social, date of birth, address, all of the information that you never want into someone else's hands. So, you know, you're going to want to change your passwords. You're going to want to use a strong password and a password that you don't use with any other account. I would personally file a police report. I would file a police report. I would let the Federal Trade Commission know first, because they know all about this. They will guide you step by step of what to do. Again, you have the right to put an alert on your credit report and freeze on all three bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. I would lock those down, absolutely lock those down. Bank accounts, sounds like you did the right thing. You closed the bank account, opened a new bank account. You want to be really diligent about and vigilant about not using an unsecure Wi-Fi like Starbucks, or if you go to a hotel. A lot of consumers' data is breached just by those simple things. Even if you go to the hospital, if you're in the hospital or you're visiting someone in the hospital, they're going to offer you their Wi-Fi because more than likely your phone, your laptop is not going to work there. And the minute you log in, it's not secure. It's unsecure. And there are hackers. Milton just, went through this PowerPoint slide about hackers are just sitting back, just waiting. They are just waiting to get in and get that information. It's a real shame that your data was breached through your cell phone company. And not really, you can't blame yourself. It wasn't done by you. You didn't, log into an unsecure internet. It was breached by a company that you trusted. And that's so unfortunate. You need to scan your laptop, your computers, keep your antivirus up to date, review your credit report. You can get that free credit report from annualcreditreport.com. They work directly with the Federal Trade Commission, and you can get that now once a week, completely free. You won't get your credit score, but you can get all of that history to make sure that no one has opened anything in your name. You want to make sure you reach out to any company that used your social. And we don't think of things or places like the electric company, your insurance, most car insurance, homeowners insurance, electric, gas, water. A lot of times they pull your credit when you open accounts with them. So think outside the box. But again, call the FTC, reach out to the Federal Trade Commission. They have a step-by-step guide. They will stay in touch with you and help you to get this resolved. Again, it's so unfortunate. I wish hackers would get a real job and leave us consumers alone. So, and you actually said in the chat, if you could have a confidential conversation, please feel free to call me directly. I will put my phone number in the chat. You can jot that down, but I'm more than happy to help you any way that I can. I hope this helped.
To emphasize what Kim was saying, you can see all the types of scams that are going around. And like she was saying, Milton was saying, I'm sorry, in his presentation, that this is a whole full-time job for these people. Imagine these people can use all this intelligence for the good instead of doing the bad. Oh, the world will be a better place, But it's one of those things that you got to be very vigilant, very alert. You got to do your due diligence, do your, research as the member. But of course, to emphasize what Kim was saying as well, is that even though these hackers and these, scammers are trying to attack you one way or another, there's always a solution. There's resources that you can use. As you can see on the slide in front of us, we have the resources and support. These are, entities that are there to help you out. And if you, call us directly, especially if you click on option 7 to talk to Kim, she will guide you through the steps that you need to do. If you want to talk to Milton as well, he has unfortunately been, a victim of fraud, and he can definitely explain to you the things that he did so you can take that into consideration. Mr. Gary, I'm so sorry that you're going through that, but I just wanted to let you know that you can have the peace of mind that no matter what you're going through, the United States and the Federal Credit Union will guide you to the right path to make sure that it's fixed as soon as possible. Andrea, do you see another question on your end?
Yes, I do. If money is taken out of my credit union account, is the loss covered by the National Credit Union Administration insurance?
So NCUA is insurance if a credit union goes under. If we were to close the doors, lock up, That's what NCUA insurance is for. But if you have fraud, if you have a dispute, if money's taken out of your account, we absolutely have the resources. It doesn't come from NCUA, but we absolutely have the resources to give you that money back. There are, protocols in place. We do have forms that have to be signed, sometimes notarized, but if you did not authorize the transaction, you will get your money back.
Definitely. And then just to emphasize, Kim put her number down on the chat. If I'm able to repeat it, it's 571-253-6378. That's the magic number. And like I say, if anybody has any concerns, any questions, and even if, we work in marketing with Carrie and Andrea, and then we're always sending email campaigns, informing our members about our new promotions, our new products and services, the benefits from a credit union account and things like that. If you have a doubt, like, I don't know if this email is legitimate or not, make sure that you contact one of us, or you can contact Kim, and she will directly let you know if that's something that's fraud or not. But again, the resources are there. Please make sure that you utilize them. And like Kim was emphasizing, there's protocols, but we have the resources for you to get your money back, while we do on the back end the dispute and, find out how the money was taken and things like that. So best believe that no matter what happens in your account, the USSFCU is there to support you and help you.
And I just want to say, I didn't say before, these questions are excellent. I always like to start my answer with great questions. These are excellent questions. So thank you for trusting us to ask them.
And then I saw somebody that was asking if the webinar was recorded. Andrea, will the webinar be recorded and available for the members?
Yes, it will be. The link will be sent after tomorrow, I believe, Carrie. It should be sent sometime this week before, right?
Yeah, the only reason I said by Friday is because you guys have the graphic designer. She has a event tomorrow for Bring Your Kids to Work Day at the Senate. So I know she's not gonna be able to do that, but I know she'll do it on Friday and I'll get it right out. We also have previous fraud webinars that are just as resourceful, already recorded on the recordings page. So those might be helpful too. Sorry.
And as you can see, that scammers, they're very proactive. They don't sleep, they're always trying to come with new ways to, do some type of fraud. But don't be alert. The United States and the Federal Credit Union is always ahead of the game. And that's the reason why we had the 2 authentication alert. You can freeze your account after a certain amount, if you can get an alert. Let's say, for example, if you shopping and then that you're not going to spend more than, I don't know, $200, and you get something in your account coming that's extra, more than $200, you can always set up that alert like, hey, is this you? Are you doing that? And that's always your good services that we have, so that way you can have that peace of mind. So don't be alert. The scammers have a full-time, but we have a full-time here as well, and we're ahead of the game. So we're just so excited that you are asking all these questions. It's so unfortunate things happen, but that's the reason why we have these webinars, to make sure that you have that peace of mind. Any other questions on your end, Andrea?
Did you guys read the NCUA one? If money,
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Oh, I guess I was trying to message. Sorry.
Yeah, Kim did a fantastic job on that one. And just to emphasize it, she mentioned that we have the resources that, members can get their money back while we do the dispute, with the dispute department, which will be member services in this case. So, but we're just so excited. Milton, I don't know if you want to add anything else from the questions, the answers, or anything else that you want to mention.
No, I think Kim did an amazing job in explanation, and again, like you said, Eddie, if you're going through this, in my opinion, is a horrible experience. Know that you're not alone. You have resources there. There's a lot of again, as you can see on this page that we left the presentation at. The resources that we provide here, they're really great. These are really organizations that are there to help you out. And it truly again, one of those real life experiences that you're gonna go through are gonna be gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, but just know, like I said, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. And if, unfortunately, if you happen to be, a victim, hanging tight, like I said, coming from experience, it's gonna take time. It's not gonna be something that's gonna get fixed right away. But again, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. So and in a way, it's going to teach you to be additional. I mean, if you weren't careful before, if you go through this, you're going to be even more cautious as to everything that you're doing. I think I saw a comment there about having your information in the dark web. And the dark web, believe it or not, unfortunately, that's where the criminals go in and buy and sell information that they're able to obtain, and it truly it's up there. I mean, there's so many bad people out there, unfortunately, that are looking to do harm to anyone. So just be very careful. Carrie, before we answer any other questions, do you want to tell them about our topic for next week, for the next webinar?
Do I ever? So moms, dads, and grads, so Visa rewards points, so earning points on everyday spending with your Visa rewards card and redeeming them, earning more through strategic spending, planning to strategically spend, because we're doing bonus points promotion for May and June. So, and we'll also share extra cardholder perks that come with the Visa cards, and some of those do include more protections against stuff like we're talking about today. So we hope that to see you guys there. We're also gonna, if you have a debit card or a rewards card, you're earning points with your purchases, but we're gonna do a little raffle where in attendance, we'll choose a winner at random, and they'll get 10,000 bonus rewards points credited to their rewards account. So that's that's, you could redeem that for some pretty great stuff. So thank you.
Asking for a friend, and I'm not gonna say his name, but it starts with an E. Can employees also participate, Eddie, for that $10,000 bonus?
It's not a $10,000 bonus. But although points are just as good. Whoa, Arthur's gonna lose that. You know the answer though. No, members only.
So guys, I was asking for a friend. I that's all I said.
Your friend works here too.
So okay. you as a member, please make sure that you take those 10,000 points from me, because I'm not able to do it. I'm that friend, I guess. We can, do that disclaimer. And also I wanted to give a special shout out to Mr. Wong. He made a great comment in the chat saying that we always gotta be on high alert. Most of our information is on the internet one way or another, whether we have like a social media application or we shop in a Target or whatever it is. I'm not promoting Target, by the way, but it's one of those things that your information is always there, so just be on high alert, do your due diligence. As Milton was emphasizing on his on the presentation, you're able to check your credit weekly for free. So just make sure that you're always doing that investigation. And Mr. Wong, we're so happy that your son was with you. Thank you very much for that. We're so happy that you're bringing up the family. Hopefully next time it can be, another family member, and next thing you know, you're gonna need like multiple screens because you have all these family members with you. So Mr. Stan, thank you very much. Andrea, I saw a last minute question coming in. It was about passwords. Can you read it for me?
Yeah, where is the best place to store your passwords and usernames for sites and accounts?
Oh, that's a good question. And just so you know, there are a lot of different companies out there that provide protection. And I know, do you think I'll get in trouble if I endorse one, Barry? But there's one in particular that I use myself, and it's called I'm sorry, I'm getting the name wrong. It is the it's Bitwarden. I'm sorry. It's one of the and it's a company that I use myself.
Well, and actually, when we had our IT cybersecurity guy on here a few fraud ones ago, we use that at our company. He's vetted and endorses that. So no, you will not get in trouble. Remember
Okay.
when Muhammad was on here and said that? And Stan, I'm trying to make him come off mute. So he's always got good feedback on that one. But I don't know if he's still here. But yes, sorry.
Awesome. Yeah, so that would be one that, like I said, we actually use it at the company. I use it on a personal, and I've been using it for I think now almost 7 years. And it's a good company. I haven't had any alerts saying that my information has been compromised, so that's a good thing. So I'm
Can you
hoping to
repeat
keep
the
that.
name? Sorry, can you repeat?
I'll put it in the chat. That might be easier.
I think it's BITWARDEN, but I'll just
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep, there we go. Yeah, Mr. Well, and just if in case no one knows here, but we do have an IT expert also. I think we're gonna have to like make him a consultant here very soon. But Mr. Juan, he always shares a lot of great tips and resources for the members as well too. And Bitwarden, it's the one. And there is also another one that's called One Password. They're good. He's not endorsing them, so Mr. Juan is not endorsing. I want you all to know that. And I'm not endorsing it either. I'm saying that I use it myself and I don't have any problems, but just throwing it out there, right, Carrie?
With that being said, I think, you know, it was a great night of learning, a great night of education. And we're just so happy that each one of you was present. Thank you very much for hanging with us. I know we always say 7, we go past 7 because we get so excited and passionate about these topics, you know. But with that being said, Carrie, Milton, Kim, and Andrea, you are always killing it. Thank you very much for making this happen. Thank you for making my job so much easier, to be honest with you, because I enjoy it. It doesn't even feel like work. And to the attendees, like I mentioned in the beginning, and we always say this and we always emphasize this, without you, none of this would be possible. With that being said, hope everybody has a great evening. Mr. Juan, thank you for your experience as well. We're looking forward to see you next Wednesday on another weekly Wednesday webinar, season 2. Don't forget that. So have a great night, and thank you everybody for everything.
Thank you.